Right. Hello. Good morning. Wow. I've noticed that my views have been kind of scarce, I guess. Oh, well, let's do this anyway. So, this is High Priestess Jamila, and I wanted to come and give you guys a reminder. Number one is to the full moon. Full moon is coming up on the 20th of October. This is an excellent time to remove generational hexes, as well as to curse your abusive parents. Um, Generational hexes. Let's talk about it. You know, sometimes you'll get lucky enough to have a parent that is protecting you from these kind of curses. But there were a lot of you that were sort of just pawns. And I never forget the first time I removed the generational hex off of me. It almost felt like my heart became unchained because my generational hex was poverty and loneliness. And this was, for me, it was a result of my parents sort of feeling as though I was a mistake because they didn't know how to fix their broken relationship. So instead of them giving their daughter the best chance possible, I sort of slipped through the cracks. But then God has found me. And you'd be surprised as to the amount of people with narcissistic, sociopathic parents. You'd be shocked. Some of y'all, it's your mother. Some of y'all, it's your father. Some of y'all could be grandmother, grandfather. Um, and they're just abusive, have made it impossible for you to live. Definitely hypocritical, especially if you are a witch. Okay. And the parent says, well, I don't agree with you being a witch. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use witchcraft against you. Isn't that funny? I'm upset that you're a witch, but I'm going to use witchcraft against you because I'm upset that you're a witch. Then also a majority of you gang stalking victims. This can be coming for a lot of witches. This could absolutely be coming from the church or from a church. I have heard of lots of churches that parents can go to. There have been parents that have sent their children to these church camps to be abused, if they show signs of being a witch or being gay. Um, and so, yeah, there's a lot of evil coming from the church, and they think they're holier than thou, but they're not. Totally delusional, hypocritical people. I have been slaying their asses for well all of my life, but when I started my company 6 years ago, I have been slaying them. They keep trying me though. They keep trying me. I don't know why they keep trying me, y'all. It's so weird. That's why I'm able to come and minister y'all about this. Um, and I want people to be careful to pay attention to the bullshit. because that's a result of that. And anybody going against me is going to get their ass smacked. They're not going to make it. For some reason, you have some parents that get jealous of you. You have some family members that get jealous. Anytime you have any kind of family member attacking you, that means that it's a generational hex, because family ain't supposed to be doing stuff like that. If you had a disgusting father that molested you, he may be obsessed with you, obsessed with your love life, very, very sick and disgusting. That's why a lot of you ladies have a hard time finding a man. When you find one, you can't keep them because your disgusting, perverted father, may be doing some things. I like the ones, I especially like to work on the hypocritical ones that go to church, but then again, they also go to witches to do spells and curses on their own kids. A lot of y'all, that is the case for a lot of y'all. Okay. Especially if you had a father that smoked crack or something and his mind is all messed up. Drugs afflicting your family, crack, meth, heroin, those particular drugs connect people with some very, very, very sinister demons, including wet. All of those things will open up a person's mind to where they can do certain drugs. When they're doing those drugs, the mind can do a lot. So for some of y'all, it's like an ongoing fight. It's like an ongoing thing. It's like sometimes you can't just remove it and then stop at that. You have to make sure that you're venerating the ancestors. You have to make sure that you're celebrating the Sabbaths. You should absolutely follow the pagan calendar, in my humble opinion, because before before paganism, y'all do know that Christianity is pretty much based in paganism. Everybody knows that. That's no secret. Um, so it's real important. Right now, the way they got y'all on the schedule is that you only venerate your ancestors in May. That's not enough. It's not enough. Okay. So a lot of people have been programmed to not know the truth. They've been programmed to do something else, and it really honestly doesn't serve them the way that they think it does. And you got to be careful with these people because they are absolutely looking out for each other. But guess what? Guess what? God is looking out for you. Know that they are very ungodly, very unholy, very disgusting. And they they have these church meetings where they they are committing blasphemy against Jesus' name. Okay. Especially for you witches. Because many of y'all are healers. Okay. Empaths can, by the way, guys, empaths can't tell the future. Empathism is where you can feel what another person is feeling. Empathism is not a psychic. You can be a psychic empath, but again, these energies are very unpredictable sometimes. Okay. Um, Typically, a lot of you guys that are generationally hexed, the issue is factually just perversion. That's it. It's just perversion. A lot of y'all just want normal lives, but you can't seem to have it because it's constantly some kind of perverted demon There's a lot of signs of that too. Like if you in your 30s and your father is still snooping around trying to figure out who's in your underwear when he shouldn't be. Um, a lot of you guys that are generationally hexed, you can have a normal life. Of course, you're a sacrifice. Who cares? Don't be one. Don't be the sacrifice. Yes, they do want you to be the sacrifice, but you got to fight for your life. You have to fight for your freedoms. And eventually there will be a point where it'll be completely done and over with. Trust me, they'll be done soon. Um, I've been dealing with it for it was 7 years. 7 years in uh May or June. About 7 years in May or June. It's always for a petty reason. Oh, I think your TV is bigger than mine, or oh, I think that your house is bigger than mine, or oh, I don't. They all have their different reasons. I'm gonna tell you what it is. They are demonically possessed because they feel that they are holier than thou, but then they're doing some of the most despicable things for despicable reasons. Especially if you had a father that molested or raped you. Now they think that you should be their daddy's little girl for the rest of your life, and you 30 or 40, and you can't have sex with your parents. So but they're obsessed with who you're having sex with all the time. They tap phones, they try to snoop into your emails. I mean, they are absolutely disgusting. And I am living and breathing proof that you can overcome that. With my narcissistic father, it was all about, oh, you done had babies by that nigga. Oh, your life is ruined. You're gonna be in poverty your whole life. So, and when you defy that and you overcome that, then they're like, oh, I gotta be right. And I wouldn't feel bad. Like, I don't understand people that feel bad for fighting back against an abusive parent. Don't feel bad. Why would you feel bad about that? They literally went against God and try to destroy your life. You shouldn't feel bad. You got to come out of that programming and be defiant against a parent like that. And I don't want y'all to lose faith in what I'm talking about because they'll say, oh, well, why can't you stop me? Well, because you're a freaking idiot. That's why. That's why. Why should I need to stop you? You a grown person. You grown. You can do whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to do what I got to do about it. And that's just what it is. If you got both parents doing it, it's going to be all right there too. I think a lot of people, if they don't have a perfect life, if you don't have perfect parents, you want to just say, fuck it, I want to give up. Don't ever give up. God gave you your life for a reason. Okay. And you have to understand that some of your parents are karmics, unfortunately. Some of y'all were born underneath parents that may have been either lovers or enemies in the previous life. It's just a thing. A lot of people, I think it's very difficult for people to accept it. When they have a parent that is out to get them, it's very, very hard to accept. And some people wouldn't be able to handle it. Um, for me, it's just a thing because I understand a lot about spirit. I have a lot of conversations with God, with spirit, And it's one of those things to where, you'll be okay. When I first got to Georgia, I was cleansing myself for 3 years straight before Spirit gave me that Gen Hex remover. When I did it, my income increased 5 times. I opened myself up to love, which was a miracle because I had pretty much swore men off. Doesn't matter if you have a man that acts a fool, at least you were open to it. Okay. And, just be patient with yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And I'm not saying when I say forgiveness, because it's something about when you have a narcissistic parent that is the most disgusting, horrible, disgusting. It affects you, it can affect your children, it can affect your stability in life. It's absolutely disgusting because this parent, especially if you have one that is lonely and single, the parent is constantly searching for validation through you. And if you don't give them that validation, if you try to cut the cord from them, they have a problem. You are absolutely entitled to go no contact from that parent. Whenever I do Gen Hex removers, the first thing I tell you, if it's your parent that's doing it, you have to go no contact. You have to be the Ace of Pentacles. The last client that I had pissed me off. Do not piss me off coming to me after I do a Gen Hex remover on you, and you come to me and you say, oh, well, I spoke to my father, and you know damn well your father is the one that's doing it to you. I get very, very upset about that because we can all say, well, it was caused by the devil, and why can't I save my parent? Well, your parent had a choice to save themselves, but they chose to be petty. They chose to take it out on you, whatever bullshit was between you and the other parent, them and the other parent. You were the innocent child that got caught up in the middle. Okay. So, and you have to go no contact with them because what the parent does is when they talk to you, they put certain energies on you. They're repeating things to you that they believe is spells, and that's another thing. A lot of y'all, the spells and the incantations that you do, oh, you ugly, you ain't got nothing, don't nobody want you stupid, you fat, you dumb, right? So a covert parent, after you get older, they can't say that to you directly. So what they'll do is they'll get other people to say it to you, right? So it's very trippy. It is. It's extremely trippy. For me, my emotions just really, I once you've been through it your whole life, you kind of just don't give a damn anymore. You kind of just don't care because you know where it comes from. Now, I do want to say this to y'all. I think that you should forgive the people that are being spiritually affected by that energy, because people in your life, you notice that that people in your life will be kind of fucked up towards you, and it's just one of them things. You can choose to forgive those people or move on because they don't have no sense. Those people ain't got no sense. Some people act like your parents are God. Your parents are not God. God is a totally different entity. Totally different entity. Your parents are not God. They have a God complex, but they're not God. And there's nothing God-like about harming your own children. Because guess what? Lilith teaches us that you have immortality through your children. So if you're trying to destroy your children, you're trying to destroy yourself. There's some of your parents are suicidal. They feel like, well, I did nothing with my life, so I got to die and I got to give up on life. They really done gave up on life. They really done gave up on life. I promise you. They suicidal, they depressed. Do work on them. Otherwise, you won't have no life. You'll die without accomplishing anything. Okay? And it's very ill advisable to turn into your parents either. Also, don't turn into them. Okay? Be above it. Be the Ace of Pentacles. Be independent. These types of people will say, oh, well, you're not going to get this, this, and that if you don't do what I say. Well, then fuck you, take your money. I'll make my own. That's why they can't stand me. Oh, trust me. They'll be all right, though. Okay? But they are cursed. Always feel free. Hey, parents, and I'm not talking about, because, narcissistic people will try to, they always criticizing you. Oh, well, you don't send your kids to school. Well, I homeschool my kid. Oh, well, you don't. You know, tell them to shut the fuck up. They're idiots. Stop letting these people control your damn life. The worst thing you can do is convince yourself that somebody else is more powerful than you. So when I'm doing this work for you, I'm doing it for you also. And so that's why I charge so much for that ritual. Because not only am I working on the outside influence, but I'm also working on your mind, body, and spirit so that you can be strong enough to overcome this, because it's hard. A lot of y'all, you done had cycles repeating over and over and over again in your life. It's very, very difficult, but it can be done, to save relationships with people that know about it. Because, men and women will try to take advantage of that because they just want your power and your energy. They will. A lot of men, especially if you're a female that was raised by narcissistic parents, they raised the perfect little slave for them. So there's men out there, they'll treat you like shit, they'll kick you in your damn face. You got to keep it moving, sis. I know exactly what they doing. Well, your daddy said you ain't shit, or your mama said you ain't shit. That's an abusive parent. You already won. But the problem is that the contract, some of your parents think that they can contract you out. Thank you, spirits. Good Lord. Some of them think that, this is called child sacrifice. Hello. And when they get desperate and scared, they will try to, and see, this is what I'm talking about. And see, I can see a lot of people in the future doing that to their kids. And there's a better way. There's a better way. You do not have to do that. Like these idiots, these weak-minded fossils that, oh God, I got to sacrifice my child. Oh, I'm about to go through this. They possess. It's called the zombie apocalypse. I'm telling you the truth. Especially when they get their little gang stalkers together. They act like they ain't gonna never stop. Oh, you gonna stop. Shut their asses down. They can go run their mouth all they want, but guess what? You still got your security, don't you? By the way, that testimonial that I put up yesterday, I don't know if you guys caught that video. The testimonial that I put up is factually a generational hex remover client that I've been working with for a little over a year. And it's a work in progress, but she's getting there. Her situation was a little different than mine. Mine is probably the worst case scenario. That's why it follows me. And these people follow me around YouTube aimlessly, ridiculously. Okay. But most of y'all ain't in the public eye. If you in the public eye, if you notice, you are. Let me give you an example. Um, uh, uh, Black China's mother is a narcissistic parent. Um, that pretty much follows her kid around, and then Britney Spears. Okay, her father just basically pimped her out, worked her like a damn dog. She's finally getting freedom after 30 something years. And then also sexual abuse and all of that was done to control her mind. She's breaking out of that. Okay, so yeah, they're absolutely disgusted. And they think, oh, I'm going to heaven because I called to Jesus. No, you going straight to hell. You dog your kids out, you ain't gonna never be forgiven. Because guess what? Even when your kids make a mistake, it's still your responsibility to take responsibility, ain't it? My children have made mistakes, but I will always forgive them, make sure they have what they need because I'm a real parent. Not going to destroy my children's lives because they made a mistake. Okay? You ain't supposed to treat your kids like they some bitch off the corner. Tells you a lot about how people feel about themselves and their capabilities. So somebody was running around here talking about some crap, and I'm like, no, they just got what they needed, and they can have it, and I'm good with that. So there, being a parent is a very, very, very important responsibility. Imagine being somebody that holds the life of this person in your hands. It's almost as important as a lover, but it's very different, but equally as important. And it ain't nothing that they can do about it. They can cry and moan and bitch and cry and moan and bitch and cry, but guess what? You have a biological birthright to your power and your life. And don't you ever let them. And you know what? I would be real defiant. All those relationships that they tried to destroy? Take them back. Take them back. Because a lot of y'all been walking away from people your whole life. You've been walking away from people. You've been burning bridges behind you your whole life. That's all you've been doing is going here, going there. Losing everything. Time to take it back. So this is an excellent time for that, especially during this month, especially during the winter months. Okay, because many of y'all are sitting up there thinking that you can trust certain people, but they screwing you over. And I'm talking about people that are closest to you, and they will send others to distract you while they do what they do. Okay, and some of y'all ain't even really related. Especially if your father molested you or something and you told, and he mad because you went and told on him. And a lot of y'all will have them bad spirits on you, them intranquil spirits on you. Fight their asses back. Don't be no punk. They'll try to make you feel like you the loneliest person in the world. Oh, you ain't got nobody. What you talking about? I got God. What you talking about? What you talking about? And they want to pretend to be God, but they are the furthest thing from it, because God would not do that to his own child. That's why the love of a parent is unconditional, isn't it? It always is. Okay. And don't give up on your life. A lot of people like to give up on their own life. Oh, I can't deal with this. Oh, this world is, I've never been afraid to go out into the world without my parents. Never. Okay. Don't be afraid of it. And they will do medical witchcraft on you, try to make it look like you died or something. It's a trip. But guess what? You're going to either choose the path that they tried to create for you, or you're going to create your own path and have rainbows and sunshine on that path. And it's not a damn thing that what they going to do, argue with God. You know what God will say to them? If they go to God and say, well, she's wicked, she been practicing that witchcraft, and God will say, well, you wicked too. You've been practicing that witchcraft too. Really? No, no, I just read the Bible. Exactly. Witchcraft. The Bible is a book of spells. So they're hypocrites. Go out there and create your life and be happy. Go out there and create your life and be happy. But you got to get that damn contract taken off of. And Spirit is ready to remove some contracts real quick. Uh, a lot of us women have access to the etheric realm, so we're able to rid you of those contracts, because basically you're a sacrifice, a blood sacrifice, because your parent, they may owe a debt from a previous life, or they may have some kind of drug debt, or just something that they got going on. Okay. And see, this is you know what, I'm gonna give y'all a movie to look at. uh Wait a minute, I got it in my library. Paranormal Activity, the whole series. I think in part 3, in part 3, it talks about how the grandmother sacrificed her she sacrificed her first born grandson, and the daughter only had two. Her granddaughter ended up only having two girls, and she was pressuring her to have a baby so that there could be a boy that could be sacrificed. So that's a real interesting movie. It's kind of like an example of what I'm talking about. And, typically, they will have a life insurance on you, but the life insurance is a mere pittance to, the price of your soul that they sold it for, because, they didn't really understand the potential that they could have had. They felt like they had to sacrifice you because they lazy. Okay. So my fall prices, okay, you can get a consultation for 65. Just contact me. It is confidential. Okay, so don't worry about that. It's very, very confidential. You got to get that off of you, because those parents, you see how they end up. You don't emulate them. You'll never survive. A parent that degrades and sacrifices their kids, they gonna get that work. Trust me. Trust me. And okay, it's one of the most repugnant things that you can ever do is to harm your child. It's disgusting. No matter how old they are. No matter what, your kids deserve to prosper. A lot of our parents got into the thing to where they did not want you to prosper in life. And just because they died don't mean that that curse died with them. Curses don't die when somebody dies. A lot of people are confused about that. They think, oh, well, if this person dies, no, it's still work to do. Even when your enemies die, when they die, because I can see a lot of folks' enemies dying, because they going around trying to deny you of like, well, who the hell are you? Oh, I'm a lower level demon. Oh, okay. Well, you don't have any say. You don't have no say so. Okay. Also, for those of you that want to get in the Sabbath circle, make sure that y'all do that because we're going to be doing some work this week in the circle. But if you need a Gen Hex remover, um, please don't get in the circle if you got stuff like that going on. You know what I'm saying? You can get in the circle, but it's not gonna, because see, this is the thing about paying for spiritual work. This is the reason why nobody can really do spiritual work for you for free. They're lying. They're full of shit. The money is a sacrifice. So when you pay your money, that's the debt that you're paying. And some of y'all parents got some horrific debts and they put it all off on you instead of, taking care of it themselves, or either they chose to either play dumb or be dumb. But they knew exactly the conversation that they had with that demon. And they decided, well, my child didn't do everything 100% perfect. Oh, I remember when you dropped out of school. You know how many people drop out of school and they move on to become very, very wealthy? So they feel like, oh, well, you didn't do that exactly perfect 20 something years ago. So I got the right to do that. No, they don't. Shut them down. Shut their asses all the way down. They have no authority over you. In fact, when you was a baby, they probably wanted to end your life then, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't pull the trigger because God wouldn't let them. God said, this is my anointed one. What are you doing? So you were protected because God wanted you here for some reason. A lot of y'all wake up in the morning and you wonder, why in the hell am I here in this world? You got to figure that out. You got to figure out your purpose. Okay. All right, y'all. I will see y'all later. Have a happy Monday. Blessed be.